Steve and Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from gorgeous Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about Real Estate Investment 202. You've got a few deals done, and you like it.
And you're a sophomore now. You made it through your freshman year.
This week, yesterday was 101, today's 202. Guess what tomorrow is? What is tomorrow? Junior for you?
That's a junior. I did junior, senior, and master's. That's how I see it.
There's no PhD here?
No.
You just stop at master's because you don't think...
We didn't keep going.
Because education's no longer important to you because you really actually want to do stuff in the real world.
I think that at your master... You know what? I'm glad we're having this discussion.
Me too.
I don't think you need a PhD in this. I think you can get by with a master's. Sometimes you don't need to go that far unless you want to be a perpetual student.
I'm going to quote Danny Elfman.
Ready?
You need to start. He's from the School of Hard Knocks,
and he's from Orange County. Had to point that out.
Once you get the basic information down, you've got a few deals under your belt, which is the 202 here.
Yeah.
At that point, the needle's either in your arm. Yeah. And you've got the bug, and you've got to take it to the end,
right?
Or you're just gonna kind of say, you know what, this is not for me.
What was there a quote? Does he have like a certain saying about that?
No, keep the needle in your arm or take it out.
That's Danny Elfman saying that?
No, Danny Elfman said. I read an interview years ago in Rolling Stone. And they were all asking him like, what is it with this multi-level success? Like he had a successful band, successful independent career, and then he became one of the greatest movie score artists, composers ever. And they said, where'd you get your education? What's your history? He said, I come from the School of Hard Knocks, and that's it. I don't think if he didn't finish, I might not have finished high school.
I don't know.
So those people are the exception, like Bill Gates and stuff. But you got to be careful with telling your kids that because they might just say, "Oh, yeah, I'm from the School of Hard Knocks, the mean streets of Scottsdale." Right. That's what I like to say.
Now the rough areas in South Bay.
These poor kids.
You know, you go on the other side of PCH. It's a whole different world over there.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members in the Land Investors online community. It's free.
Oh, that's funny. BD Jones asks...
What a name. That's good.
I like that. Hi, gang. I'm buying a property from a trust. I have a copy of a trust doc, so I know who's authorized to sell. Do I need to record an affidavit of trust? The title company I talked to said affidavit of trust should be on record. Anyone with any experience, not simply an opinion, LOL, buying from a trust and then selling it. Did you record anything stating who had the authority to sell from the trust? I know when I buy or sell through or from an LLC, I have to record an affidavit stating who has the authority to sell for the LLC. Anyone have a copy of an affidavit of trust they've passed on? You want to go? You want to start with me?
I'm going to drink some coffee while you answer this.
Oh. Our experience has been this. I always want to have copies of the items on record for my homework and my due diligence should anyone come back and ask anything about it. But in all of our experience and dealing with and all of our recordings and all of our counties that we worked with, it's not needed. You know that you had the right person sign for it, and you know you had the deed done correctly and done all your due diligence. But as far as recording those extra things is kind of a nice thing to have, not necessarily a need to have.
Right.
Kind of like death certificates. There's been times in the beginning that I remember before I learned, I was just recording extra things just for the sake of recording things like, oh, Mr. Smith, it's like, let me give you an example. Maybe it was a situation where it was joint tenants with rights of survivorship and husband and wife, and maybe the wife passed on. So I would just go above and beyond, and I would record the original copy of the death certificate showing that as I'm doing the deed with only the husband signing. It wasn't necessary. And that was the county's like, yeah, whatever. We stamp everything you send to us. I mean, you could you could probably send them a recipe to have recorded, and they'll record the recipe, put a date on it, and send it back to you. But it's not a need to have.
In this career, since we're talking about education, it's important in many parts of this career. where overkill is appropriate.
Sure.
Marketing, overkill is appropriate.
Sure.
Like this show, for example. This is a great example of our real estate career bleeding into something that's total overkill and not necessary, and we're probably not even pulling it off. When it comes to recording...
Speak for yourself.
When it comes to recording deeds and getting the county what they want to get a deal recorded, and so you can get it ready to resell it, and prep that at that time, prep it so when you resell it and get recorded, that's easy. Overkill is not appropriate. Just give them what they need.
Right.
They don't want to look at all that stuff anyway.
True.
They want to record a deed and the necessary affidavit, which is state specific, by the way.
Right.
And that's all. I've never recorded an affidavit of trust.
No.
So there may be.
It's true.
Jill has way more experience, by the way, at this than I do, and I've never actually recorded an affidavit of LLC. So
yeah, I didn't.
I'm not sure
if
the law. We don't do our stuff. Our staff does our stuff now, so I'm not sure. But and I'll tell you this: I have to have a talk with our producer because she's one of the best producers we've ever had by leaps and bounds. But I asked her to. We don't want to talk about deeds on this show. Jill and I
want to talk about the good
stuff. How many deals have we done where we had this is not... I think it scares people from getting in this business.
Yeah.
You don't have to know how to record your own deeds and all this stuff. There's a lot of people who really get into it, like, title / escrow type personalities or core accountants that love to do paperwork. This is all about making a bunch of dough.
Right. This is
about creating massive wealth for yourself inside of 24 months buying and selling real estate.
I think this question's timely for our show today, 202, because you have to make that mental shift and trust yourself.
Here's the
and
question.
Do what you need to do. Oh, you're showing. Okay. I'm like, I know the question. Thank you.
No, I was talking to them.
You're showing the question. Thank you.
Jill's like, put the camera back on me.
No, I'm not.
This show is about
Here's the
me.
question. I'm like, I thought you were saying,
the camera?
Jill,
why is the camera
stick
off?
to the question. Here it is. Stick to the question. No.
Can you imagine working with like some really huge mega
celebrity
movie star female is just like, why is the camera on him?
Oh.
This is about me.
That's funny.
You couldn't be further from that.
Thank you very much.
Today's topic, real estate investment 202. Get a few deals completed. Or maybe you're at a point you're a little ahead of the class. Jill's doing all the whole class analogy this whole week.
Yeah.
You have a few deals done. A few more deals than the guy sitting next to you. And you want more. You can just taste it. This is the meat of the show. So what would you say? This is a sophomore now, you say?
Yes.
You're a sophomore?
Yes.
What should you be thinking about?
Getting in. You know what? Sophomore is wrapping up all the basic knowledge, getting all your core classes, your fundamental classes out of the way, because now your junior and your senior year are all your degree classes. Yeah. So you now had your freshman year, and you've had a taste of it. You've done some deals. And you're liking it. So now as a sophomore, you're ready to like start ramping it up. And then by junior or senior year, you're going crazy, man. So is that that's how I see it.
Yeah.
So, and now too, it's like as a sophomore, you're helping you're a sophomore because you're helping the freshmen. And I see it all the time in our online community. I see people that like, when they're surprised at themselves that they're like, I can actually help this person answer that question because I did one last week. Mm-hmm. And I remember being that guy. I remember being the guy that says my first deal and I'm so freaked out. Does my posting look good? And now you're a sophomore and you can weigh in on somebody else's postings. Like what I mean is a lot of our members, it's a really great place. They will, when they have their first property, their first couple properties are making their postings or on their website, they want to make sure their pictures look good, their video looks good, their description looks good. They want it to sell, obviously. So they'll send links and they'll upload things onto our online community and ask the community like, hey, you guys, you're all way ahead of me. Will you please, if you have time, eyeball my posting. Tell me if I'm missing something. Does it look good? I want to get your input. And I watch the sophomores in our program weigh in on that. And it's funny because I know that they're a little bit like, you know what? I actually know something about this. And they can say like, look, I can tell you from experience, if you change your photos up a little bit or you add this in your description or even silly things like, hey, you forgot your email address or your phone number in there, like, whoops, that's a little freshman mistake. And they'll catch it for them. And so that's where I think we are.
At this point, after you've done a few deals, you should start to have thoughts like this. Boy, that last deal didn't go how I wanted it to. It's a good thing I got out of it. I'm not going to let that happen again. Don't let these deals control you. You control the deal.
Right.
You should have an idea of a transaction in your head. And when you go into the transaction, you make it happen for you, not the other way around. Don't let the transaction control you, or the seller, or the county, or the title agent, or anything. You also should always start to think about, at this point in your career, an exit strategy for every property. You never want to end up with for sale property.
Yeah.
For sale. You want to end up with property that you know who's going to buy it before you buy it.
Yep.
You know exactly when you're going to start marketing the thing long before you actually close on the acquisition. And you also should be having big picture thoughts like, wow, if I do 20 of these deals this year, I'm going to make $80,000. Wouldn't it be better? Would it be better for my personality type to do 20 deals this year? But I'd rather make $50,000 each than make $1 million instead of $60,000 or $70,000. So those are the kinds of things that sophomores in anything start to have thoughts about and feelings.
Love it.
If you're Jill.
Well, and also too, you can start to take a step back and look at things differently. Like, all right, now I know from the experience on the last time, I accidentally picked a county that, the recorder's never there. I mean, you pick things like
data was bad.
It's hard to find stuff. It's, really, they're not easy to work with. Who knows, whatever it is. Maybe you picked a county like everybody else is in this county. I want to go somewhere where nobody else is going now.
Yeah.
I want to really branch out because I know I can make more money over here or something like that. So now you can take a step back and start seeing those things. It's like, you know what it is? I have a good analogy. Learning to ride a Vespa, which I'm doing right now. Seriously, I have now
You're a sophomore there.
I'm a sophomore. I am a sophomore. I have enough miles now. I have enough saddle time, enough miles under my belt that I can start really looking up even further. First it was I'm looking at potholes. You know what I mean? So yeah. First of all, I'm like, can I hold this thing up? You know what I mean? How fast can I go? Can I hold this thing up? Come on. Just the last time, just recently, we were at a red light, and you said, now you looked around and said, this is your time to hit it. And I said, all right, I'm going to do that. I'm like, and I gave it all it had. So, by the way, that was awesome. So
300 cc's too.
Thank you very much. I'm like, I'm going to see
in 5.8 seconds.
I'm
Truly amazing.
How fast this thing can go.
It's not a 50 cc Vespa.
Thank you.
It's a full-blown motorcycle.
Thank you. That was my favorite thing too, by the way. When we're sitting on a light, I have to tell you off the record, with everybody here watching.
This is more on the record than it couldn't be more on the record.
This is true. No, I have to tell you, every single time we're sitting at a red light and you point out guys on like motorcycles that look like they're legit and you tell me that they're smaller than mine engine wise, that makes me feel so darn good. So please always do that. So,
some of them are smaller. Some of the CCs are bigger, but they're way heavier and they're made for different stuff. So you can. When you're like,
few
exceptions,
you're faster than that guy.
You're faster, yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, that makes me feel good. And remember, we did that the other day too. One time, it was probably not the best thing to do, but there were 3 of us sitting at a signal, and I had to make a point to keep up with or try to pass that guy. Not you. I won't do it to you.
All right, so let's continue with this Vespa theme. You're a sophomore. Where do you want to take this?
So what was my point? My point was, now as a sophomore with my Vespa, I'm not just looking out for the potholes and looking out for the little things, right? I'm not overanalyzing these deals or, oh my gosh, should I buy it? Now I can like, you know what? I got the feel for this. I know how it handles. I can now really start looking further ahead on the horizon, where I'm going, where I'm going to turn, what possible things might get in my way, that kind of a thing. And I think that's the same for, sophomore and 202 level investors. They're going to start going, oh, you know what? I now see what could happen if I, price these this way, or whatever in this county, something.
Yeah,
that's my. Does that make sense? I hope.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, the first deal I did, all I could do was look forward. I did a large acreage deal. I talk about it in the ebook.
It's like this.
A large acreage deal in northern Arizona. when I was in Ohio or Pennsylvania. It doesn't matter. I can't remember. And bought it, sold it, doubled my money, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
All I kept thinking was, well, does this concept work with apartment buildings? Does it work with hospitals? Does it work with urban land? Right now, Jill and I are doing 2 very, very, very profitable urban land splits.
Mm-hmm.
We're buying properties that are on a residential lot that are zoned for multifamily, and the sellers have no idea at all. They just want to get rid of
They
their
don't
property.
care.
They don't care about
One knows and just doesn't care.
I mean, these are acre properties in a really densely populated area, urban area. So acre doesn't sound like a lot. Like originally when we put the deals in, Jill's like, no, it's only on an acre. And I'm like, well, look at the map.
Yeah.
There's 92 properties on 1 acre in this area. So
It's true.
2 of them. I don't know how that happened. We didn't even set that up. These are a good example of what can happen. They were mistakes.
Did you know what's so great too? You're right. This is one of those situations we tell our members, like, get into it, get into a flow, and hang with it. It's like we feel like we had our 1 home run, right? That's how I feel with the first one. I'm like, holy cow, what did we just find? Here's a home run.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, here comes another one. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? It's great, and I know there's more around the corner.
By the way, if you're listening to this on iTunes, and you probably are based on our analytics, we're filming the show now on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you want to see what Jill looks like today, go check it out. You done it again? Spend another 20 minutes or so listening or watching the Land Academy show. Join us next time or tomorrow where we discuss real estate investment 303. Now this is your small business.
And we answer your questions, should you have one, posted on our online community, landinvestors.com. Go there, it's free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. I think we're pulling this off.
I hope we are. They'll let us know.
Out.
Our
Yeah,
numbers
we'll
will tell us.
Somebody will say, geez, stop that.
Stop it. Yeah.
We did this a long time ago. We did it wrong, so I did it wrong. Instead of posting the MP3 file, the actual audio file where it's supposed to go, we posted it through the normal channels in an MP4 file, and people were just calling us and emailing us saying, I have you on auto download so I can listen to you on my commute, and I downloaded 4 gig file in MP4, so we figured that all out.
Oh, good.
It'll be fine.
I'm really glad. Thank you for saving us there.
You're welcome.
Join us on iTunes or wherever you are listening, and while you're at it, and hey, or on YouTube, please rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.